Growing older often brings a mix of freedom and reflection, especially after 60 when life starts to shift in new ways. And for many, living alone becomes a reality. Whether you're divorced, widowed, or simply aging solo by choice or circumstance, one of the most common concerns people express is, can I be happy alone? The answer is yes, deeply and truly yes. Happiness alone after 60 is not only possible, it can be deeply fulfilling, but it does require a shift in mindset and some intentional habits. Let's begin by understanding that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. There's a powerful difference between solitude and loneliness. Solitude can be peaceful, healing, and energizing, while loneliness is more about feeling disconnected from purpose or people. When you lean into solitude, you begin to realize how much joy can be found in your own presence, your thoughts, and your rhythm. Take, for instance, the story of Eleanor, a 70-year-old retired nurse in Pennsylvania who felt adrift after her children moved to different states. At first, the quietness in her home felt like a heavy silence, but over time she began to wake up early, sit by her window with a cup of tea, journal her thoughts, and slowly fill her days with routines that nourished her. From morning stretches to gardening in her backyard and reading novels she never had time for. Eleanor says she didn't just survive being alone. She discovered a version of herself that had been waiting for attention for years. One of the most grounding steps to finding happiness alone is building a daily routine. Routines give us purpose and help reduce the feeling of drifting through the day. Start simple. Wake up at the same time each day, make your bed, do 5 minutes of stretching, eat a nourishing breakfast, and write down one thing you're grateful for. Gratitude isn't just a trendy word. It's one of the most researched and effective ways to boost happiness. Scientists at Harvard and UC Berkeley have found that seniors who keep a daily gratitude journal report fewer health complaints and greater levels of optimism and contentment. And then, there's movement. Staying physically active doesn't mean running marathons. It could be a daily 20-minute walk around your block, light yoga using a YouTube video, or even dancing to your favorite oldies in the living room. Movement connects you to your body, boosts endorphins, and keeps your bones and heart strong. For example, George, a 66-year-old in Texas, began doing simple chair yoga every morning after his doctor warned him about back stiffness. Not only did his body improve, but he also noticed his mood lifted, and he found joy in something he never imagined enjoying. Another way to thrive alone is by learning or revisiting hobbies. Creativity has no age limit. Whether it's painting, knitting, bird watching, baking, or even learning a new language, hobbies give your mind something to look forward to. Margaret, 74, found a local pottery class through Senior Planet, and now proudly displays her handmade bowls and mugs, sharing them as gifts. She says her hands feel alive again, and so does her spirit. But it's not just about hobbies and routines, it's about building meaning. One powerful source of meaning is giving. Volunteering, even 1 hour a week, provides a sense of contribution. You might think, I don't have the energy. But sometimes giving just means listening. Consider joining a phone check-in program through a local senior center or church where you make one call a day to another senior who also lives alone. These small moments of connection can create a huge impact for both people. And while in-person connection is wonderful, you can find community online too. Websites like Senior Planet, Cyber Seniors, and The Ethel by AARP offer free virtual classes, chats, and interest groups, from cooking to faith studies to technology training. You're never too old to make a new friend or learn something that surprises you. Technology may feel overwhelming at first, but with a little patience, it becomes a window to the world. Don't forget to curate your home into a space that brings you peace. Add cozy lighting, play soft music, hang up meaningful photos or affirmations, and create a corner that feels like a retreat just for you. Your environment impacts your mood far more than we realize. And let's not ignore the spiritual side of being alone. Many people find deeper peace in prayer, meditation, or simply being still and listening to their breath. Whether you believe in God, the universe, or simply the power of stillness, these moments reconnect us to something bigger. Finally, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or consistently down, there's no shame in seeking help. Many therapists specialize in supporting older adults and offer virtual sessions. Sometimes happiness begins with asking for help and allowing someone to walk with you as you rebuild. You have not come this far in life without strength. You've raised families, worked hard, overcome loss, built memories, and here you are, still here, still growing. Being alone after 60 is not an end. It's a beginning. It's a chance to know yourself without roles, without rushing, and without apology. Now that we've laid the foundation for daily joy and self-connection, let's talk about building emotional and financial security. Two of the most important pillars of happiness when you're living alone after 60. First, emotional safety isn't about ignoring hard feelings. It's about creating a mindset where you can feel, process, and move through them with kindness toward yourself. There will be days that feel heavier than others, grief, memories, or just quiet moments that hit unexpectedly. And instead of brushing those aside, acknowledge them. Allow yourself to feel without judgment. One helpful practice is to write a letter to yourself, the same way you'd write to a dear friend. Reassure yourself. Remind yourself of how far you've come. You've walked through storms and you're still standing. These gentle self-reflections build emotional resilience. You can also start incorporating emotional rituals into your week, like a Sunday check-in with yourself. Brew some tea, sit with a journal, and reflect. How do I feel today? What do I need more of? What made me smile this week? It's not therapy, but it's therapeutic. Speaking of therapy, if you have access to senior counseling services in your area or online platforms that offer affordable options, it's absolutely worth considering. Mental wellness is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. Now on to something equally important: financial peace. One of the biggest stress points for people aging alone is worrying about money. Will I have enough? What if I need care? How do I stretch my savings? These are valid questions, and the first step to peace is clarity. Start by making a simple list of your income, Social Security, any pensions, retirement accounts, passive income streams like a rental or investments, or even part-time work. Then track your monthly expenses, utilities, groceries, medications, transportation, and other needs. This gives you a full picture, and from there, you can make empowered choices. Maybe you realize you can downsize to something more manageable and cozy. Maybe you qualify for utility discounts or grocery programs for seniors. Maybe it's time to explore earning a bit of income from a hobby, crafting, tutoring online, selling baked goods, or offering childcare in your neighborhood. These aren't just financial moves. They're empowering actions that remind you that you're still in charge of your life. One inspiring story comes from Charles, a 73-year-old former history teacher who now teaches kids on Zoom part-time, reading stories and leading short history lessons. He makes a few $100s a month, but more importantly, he says it gives his days structure and meaning. And let's not forget the power of community resources. Local senior centers, libraries, and nonprofits often offer free classes on Medicare management, budgeting, estate planning, and even low-cost meal plans or transportation services. Don't be afraid to use them. These services are there because you've spent a lifetime contributing to society, and now it's your turn to receive support. Building financial confidence helps you relax and enjoy the present instead of fearing the future. It helps you say yes to little joys like a movie night, a lunch with a friend, or a small vacation. And speaking of joy, one of the most healing things you can do alone is nurture your environment. Your space should reflect your spirit. You don't need to live in a big house to feel at home. You need warmth, intention, and comfort. Maybe that means repainting a wall in a soft, calming tone, bringing in some houseplants, hanging family photos, or creating a corner where you pray, read, or simply breathe. Creating a space that says, "You matter," can lift your energy every day. Another meaningful part of being happy alone is finding rhythm in relationships. You don't need dozens of friends, just a few good connections. Make it a habit to reach out to someone each week. A phone call, a handwritten letter, a short message. You'd be surprised how often people are waiting for someone to make the first move. You're not a burden. People who love you want to hear from you. Even brief interactions, a conversation with a neighbor, a quick chat with a cashier, a warm greeting to your mail carrier. These micro-connections help build a sense of community and remind you that you're seen. And if you're open to it, pets can be incredible companions. Many seniors find joy in adopting older cats or dogs, which are typically calmer and more manageable. They provide routine, comfort, and unconditional love. Barbara, 69, adopted a senior beagle named Daisy. She says Daisy gives her a reason to go on morning walks, and the companionship has filled her house with laughter and life. Alone doesn't have to mean lonely. It can mean peaceful, intentional, and full of things you love. As we move deeper into the journey of being happy alone after 60, let's talk about something powerful: purpose. Purpose is not just something young people chase in careers or grand ambitions. Purpose can be small, quiet, and deeply personal. It might be waking up each day with the intention to grow something, help someone, learn something, or simply be present with your life. The truth is, when we lose certain roles, parenting, career, partner, it's easy to feel like our purpose has faded. But what if your purpose now is to share wisdom, to be the calm in someone else's storm, to show what resilience and grace truly look like in a person? Consider this. Our generation holds decades of life experience, stories, and lessons that younger people are craving. What you've been through, joy, loss, faith, rebuilding, mistakes, healing, all of it has value. You don't need a stage to tell your story. You just need to be willing. Start by journaling. Write down one life story each week. How you got through something hard, what you learned from a choice, how someone you loved shaped your values. These stories not only heal you as you reflect, they become a legacy. Imagine passing that down to your grandchildren, your church community, your friends. Or better yet, record yourself talking. You don't have to publish it, but hearing your own voice telling your own truths is powerful. We live in a world full of noise, but stories still connect hearts, and yours matters. Another way to nurture purpose is to revisit your spiritual life. Whether you follow a religion, pray in your own way, or simply believe in something bigger, spiritual practices can be deeply comforting. They help us remember that we are not just bodies aging. We are souls growing. You might choose to read a short devotional each morning, light a candle in memory of someone you love, or sit in silence and let your heart speak. Some seniors find community in virtual church gatherings, meditation groups, or quiet nature walks where they feel closest to God. Gloria, 71, begins each morning sitting by her window with her Bible open and her hand on her heart. She says it reminds her she's never truly alone. Your spirit is a sacred part of your happiness, especially when you're by yourself. It creates inner strength that doesn't fade with age. And speaking of strength, let's revisit a tool we mentioned earlier: learning. Lifelong learning has been proven by researchers to reduce the risk of cognitive decline, ease depression, and increase life satisfaction. That doesn't mean going back to school. It means following your curiosity. There are websites like Coursera, Senior Planet, or even local library programs where you can learn everything from digital photography to cooking Thai food to American history. The goal is not perfection, it's expansion. Each time you try something new, your brain lights up. You feel more alive, more engaged, more capable. Larry, 67, taught himself how to play harmonica watching free YouTube tutorials. He now plays in his local park every Sunday. He says he hasn't felt this proud of himself since retiring 10 years ago. That's the beauty of learning. It reconnects you to wonder. Don't be afraid to start small. Just pick one thing and let it unfold. And finally, let's talk about joy. Joy doesn't need to be huge. It lives in tiny moments. Your first sip of coffee, a fresh set of sheets, a text from someone who cares, a song that takes you back. Part of being happy alone is choosing to notice those things. Joy doesn't always arrive. It often needs to be noticed, invited, welcomed. One practice you can try is called micro-joys. Each night, write down 3 small things that made you smile that day. Maybe the sun came out. Maybe your favorite song played while grocery shopping. Maybe you heard a baby laugh on a video. These moments anchor us in goodness. They remind us that life is still beautiful, even in simplicity, even in quiet, even alone. And don't be surprised if over time you find that solitude becomes a friend, that your days feel full, that you start smiling more when no one's watching. Now that we've talked about daily rhythms, emotional strength, financial peace, spiritual grounding, and personal purpose, let's finish this journey by focusing on how to maintain momentum, face those hard days, and leave a legacy that gives you peace. Living alone doesn't mean every day will be easy. There will be days when you miss someone deeply, when the house feels too quiet, or when your body doesn't move like it used to. That's okay. These days don't mean you're failing at living alone. They just mean you're human. The key isn't to avoid the hard days, but to build tools for getting through them with grace. One of the best tools is having a rescue list. This is a simple list you create on a good day that includes things that lift your mood or ground your spirit. It might include calling a certain friend, watching a comfort movie, taking a warm bath, reading scripture, baking something, listening to a podcast, or walking outside with no destination. On the harder days, go to your list and choose something. It's not about fixing your feelings. It's about showing up for yourself like someone who truly cares. And you do care. That's the beauty of this chapter. You're learning to love yourself as deeply as you've loved others. Another way to carry your strength forward is to build a legacy that reflects your life, your values, and your love. This doesn't have to mean wealth or grand gestures. Legacy is what you leave in people's hearts. It can be a photo album filled with handwritten notes for your grandchildren, a book of life lessons, a video message to your family, a garden planted in your yard, or simply the way you've chosen to live, with integrity, courage, and kindness. Your life has already made an impact. Every smile you've given, every time you chose compassion, every mistake you learned from, these moments ripple further than you know. Don't underestimate them. Don't underestimate yourself. As you continue this chapter, your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, know that you are still growing, still learning, still capable of experiencing peace, joy, friendship, laughter, and discovery. If you find yourself in a hard season right now, please remember this. Your story is not over. In fact, this might just be the part where everything comes together in a way that finally feels like home. Maybe it's not what you expected, but it can still be beautiful. Surround yourself with the little things that bring you comfort. Make peace with your past, because it got you here. Hold on to hope, because there's still more to see, more to feel, more to be. And most of all, believe that you are worthy of happiness, not someday, but now. Alone doesn't mean forgotten, it doesn't mean unloved, it can mean peaceful, powerful, and deeply present. So keep going. Keep planting those seeds of joy. Keep waking up with intention. You are not behind in life. You are right on time. And you are never truly alone. At the 60+ chapter, we believe that life after 60 is not about slowing down. It's about finally living in a way that feels true to you. We know this stage of life can sometimes feel quiet, overlooked, or unsupported, but you're not alone here. Every story we share is crafted to bring you hope, strength, and practical guidance to help you live not just longer, but better and more fully. We're here for you. And we'll keep showing up with real stories, simple tools, and trusted advice to help you navigate this chapter with confidence and heart. If this message brought you comfort, clarity, or even just a little hope, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't yet, please take a moment to subscribe. It's free, but it means everything to us. It allows us to reach more people like you, and it helps us keep building this beautiful space for encouragement and connection.